too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Griffin, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Griffin, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
The top three here, Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen, 13 world championships between them. Count them, down to you. Yeah, well, 7 for Hamilton, 4 for Vettel, 2 for Verstappen, 13, that makes 13. Nice one, Griffin, not too shabby.
In a few moments' time, we have the green flag, and in front of a capacity crowd, 5 lights are on. It's lights out, away we go. Verstappen does get away well.
Hello all and welcome in to WHF. We're back here on F126. We are here in the Madring and you're joined by me, WHF Arrow and Rio Harris for comms this evening. and we're about to go on a lap with Get on Xbox, aka Geet, and it's live!
Yeah! He's been playing it the whole time, by the way.
And this is going to be interesting to see. Geet, who was one of the Red Bull drivers last season, he'll be the first driver to start a lap here and around the Madring, which so far we've seen it's got awful track limits, but I'm pretty sure in a patch in the future they will be removed. And Geet will chuck it and invalidate through his first run. I'm excited to see up this this steep right-hander. Some people going long into it and bending it. I think that is turn 8, I believe. Mallard also involved in the Aston Martin. Mallard used to be in the Aston Martin back in the day, along with Ollie. As in Cadillac, with Ollie being on a lap. I wonder, is there anyone actually further up the road actually pushing on a lap? Ho-Chin's invalid. TJ's on an out lap. Let's go with the Red Bull of Creamy. P3 in Tier 3. Creamy joins Red Bull, and will Creamy find some extra pace on this new game? Where that's the exciting thing about the new game, is there's a lot of drivers who will just find buckets of pace once you go over to a new game, and could Creamy be one of the drivers? We'll wait and see. Unfortunately, last season didn't have any wins, but was definitely the closest driver to getting a win without actually getting one last season. But I'm sure this season, despite if he moves up to Tier 2, he could still be one of the drivers threatening for a win, as he rounds the final corner and will be the first driver to set a lap here. And the banker lap will be a 31.5, and Rio can let you know if that's a good time, because I haven't even really practiced this track yet to know if that is a good time.
It's not the greatest, not the worst. There's a Gordon goes to the top. It's a 31.3, but you will, there you go, there's a good time for you. 29.2 set by the reigning 2-1 champion Trixie. Obviously, we know he's got pace, and we know that we could see lap times in the 1 minute 28s here, but I think pole could be decided from how well you cut turn 5. As a matter of fact, like you mentioned, they're absolutely broken within this version of the roster so far. As the two Haas cars come around the final corner of each other, over the line we go with Echo to the front row, but Arrow 1.5 seconds away.
Yeah, Trixie, Tier 1 champion for a reason, as Gordon's gone deep at one of the corners. This is a runoff that I've not seen before. Where on the track is he? Oh, yes. Horrid. That's the uphill hairpin, which is very tricky. Stephen Beecham in the V carb up to P4. Nis with a 28.9 as the two drivers who were 1-2 last season, Nis and Trixie, are back 1-2 again. Nis ended the season with a win in Belgium, as we see Stade Body leaving the track in the new Audi, and it's a nice livery. Although today in Monaco they had, instead of the red on the Audi, they had a yellow livery, which I kind of liked. What do you think about the yellow livery?
Yeah, it's alright. I prefer the red. Yellow colours really weird.
Well, for me, I think it comes down to, like, I like variety on the grid, and the yellow is like, it makes Audi stand out more. When they're red, they look kind of basic, but to be fair, honestly, on board, Stade, the car looks quite nice, to be honest. The Audi symbol as Stade goes P5. He was telling me before the race he'd be not one of the ones to watch, and in P5 ahead of Echo, he definitely is. Meanwhile, Ho-Chin and TJ, a couple Tier 1 drivers from last season, all up, and the top 8 dominated by Tier 1 drivers as Creamy from Tier 3 up in P9. He's getting a nosebleed being up that high, as we see, I think that was Ollie being up to the line in the Cadillac up to P10. And I will say Cadillac, for me, is one of the nicest liveries this year. Although, whenever they revealed it, I feel like it was a bit more silvery. And then, whenever they got to the actual release, it became more white.
Yeah, it's not the worst livery. I mean, I personally, prefer the Texas one. The Texas not the Texas, but yeah, Miami Cadillac even. That was the best livery, because it's just, I mean, the onboard's nice, right? But it looks a bit odd with the white on the left and then but more black through the whole middle and the right side. But yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, we also see Ollie invalid through the turn 5 and 6 chicane, which I actually haven't been on board anyone as they've taken that chicane. Maybe EA patched it already, but I actually haven't seen it. Has it been patched yet?
They have not.
Yeah,
No.
no.
The cut I did earlier was absolutely diabolical.
Yeah. Whenever it was day one, and I was like, oh, in the wall goes Ellis, and some damage for Ellis, as he's invalid, and I wonder what damage looks like in the game. He's missing that front left end plate, and this is our first time seeing a damaged car in this game, at least my first time seeing it. I actually haven't seen any damaged cars as of yet, and it looks pretty much the same. I haven't had to deal with damage on this game. The cars are already understeery as it is, so I can't imagine how understeery the car is now with that front wing damage. But a couple drivers there out in the laps yet to set one. Blue Killer in the Mercedes, invalid on his last run. He's gone again, as Ollie as well was invalid. He's gone again. Two is Blue Killer kicking the throttle, and the rear end stepping out on that Mercedes, as he's going to now make a charge to turn 5 and 6, and we can see how much he cuts of it. Yeah, just completely cut and smooth up the hill he goes, but it's a really tricky hairpin. But Blue Killer looking very smooth on this lap. In behind as the Williams gets perfectly out of the way. Down to 5th gear as he heads through the left-hander and through the long banked right-hander. And it's been a very smooth lap so far. We are hearing a lot of lifting and coasting, which unfortunately in qualifying you kind of have to do to spool up the battery. And we'll see how effective it is on this run around.
It's realistic though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is realistic, but it's more just it's a more problem with the regs, less with the game. As Blue Killer lifting through the right-hander. And entering the final section. Where can the Mercedes driver go? It's been a pretty smooth lap on board as he goes a little wide on exit, but up to the line, and P5 goes Blue Killer. Could we have found a new Tier 1 driver on the horizon along the state body if both of them do want to race that this season, that is. Showing some decent pace. Meanwhile, Jedi, currently the slowest driver out there. Jedi did tell me that he's injured something. I can't remember what he said he'd injured, but he's just got the cast off, so I don't really know why he's out there racing. He must be in some pain trying to race, but meanwhile Craig has gone straight on up the hill and into the wall, and is now going to have to reverse out. And there might be some damage on that front wing, but doesn't look like any visible damage for the McLaren. As Gate invalid again, and Gate honestly in qualifying last season was one of the quicker drivers, but only ended up scoring around 17 points, I believe, on the season. Just in the races, kept running into drama here, there, and everywhere. But I think Trixie, one of the next drivers on the lap, up by half a second, and we're only halfway through the lap, so Trixie might have even more time in this lap. I wonder what esports drivers are doing here in session. Have you ever seen? I think it's like a low 27. I've seen Brendan Lee do. I'm not quite sure if my memory's serving me correctly. But Trixie, go ahead, Rio.
I haven't really looked at esports, but I wouldn't be surprised they're in the 26s because we know Trixie and Civ, they're approaching esport paper. Obviously they're not there yet, but Trixie is someone who is majorly improving, and I reckon the poll will be mid to low 28s at least here today, because we know, I mean, we saw Trixie in other sessions. He does know how to hook up around Madrid, up and around the final corner though, and the man to surely go onto pole. No. Yeah, he ran
wide at the final corner, bumped the wall, and definitely lost a lot of time through the right-hander there. And Nis invalid on his lap, but still holding on to pole. TJ also invalid. Hoaching getting out of the way of a flying Aston Martin. It might be of Gate, as Gate is going to be one of the next drivers around to finish a lap. Goes very wide at the final corner, just about keeps it valid. Might lose some time there, but still up to P6. Meanwhile, we also missed Echo going P5 there as well.
You do notice the caliber of some drivers, especially at like turn 5. This is, I mean, like I just watched Ellis through like the turn 5, 6, and 7 chicane. He took barely any risk with it. Obviously, he still cut it, but like you barely He barely took any risk, and like when we was watching the other driver earlier, you thought that you can cut that a lot more than they did. I think I can't remember who it was who watched that cut it, but you can basically have all 4 wheels off the track as long as one wheel is touching that curb. You will be completely fine through turn 5.
And we're on board with Ellis's brothers. He brushes the wall out of the penultimate corner. And heading through the right-hander is going to brush that one. He does, the rear tyre clipping the wall, and he does move up to P10. But Ollie Bean last season was famous for being bad at managing his battery, and now on this game, hopefully he learns, but on that lap, considering we see how depleted his battery was, I wonder, is Ollie Bean going to struggle this game with battery management? As we see the Red Bulls out on circuit right next to each other, and this is a gorgeous shot of the Red Bulls as D. Summers around on the lap, and he's a second to the good halfway through the lap. And a second would move him up probably just ahead of Craig. As thank you for the follow, Blue Killer. Welcome into the stream. And I've just remembered I need to add the sound alerts. As we'll stay on board with D. Summers before we do that. We'll finish his lap in the McLaren.
Through towards turn number 20. The hairpin. This is, you can easily outbrake yourself here. He's got it in. He went a little bit late, but got it rotated up through turn 21. You want to rotate around the 50-meter board before you approach the final corner. Once again, you want to brake and turn at the 50-meter board, up and around the final corner. A little burst of overtake towards the line, and D. Summers goes with a bit more near on 1 second improvement. Can only jump from 16th to P14. Can the Williams driver, the Racing Bulls, I believe, of Nasev, just peeled into pit lane. They had invalidated, I'm going to presume, at that tricky turn 5, 6, and 7 complex, and well, probably at turn 5, which you have to cut monumentally here in the Madring circuit, as I think Ollie, the only driver who's yet to set a time, is making their way, well, I guess around the final corner. They come into pit lane, so they will have 3 minutes and 50 to set yet another time in this session. Craig Conley's another one who is invalidated on their time and will peel into pit road, and it might be Creamy up next in the Red Bull, who has again another one invalidated. Their time, they're all about stage body in the Audi, another one that is invalidated on their time, and I believe that will be it for the moment.
Although I do think State Body and TJ both improved there, but TJ now the closest driver to the top 2, but the top 2 in their own league of their own. But at least this season we won't see Trixie and Nis in the same team, although you would hope, well, I mean, Trixie could technically still end up in Nis's team, but a lot of people would have to not pick Trixie, which I doubt's gonna happen. I think Trixie's probably gonna go second or third with Nis. Because of the rules, will have to be forced to be picking himself at the start. So I'm guessing Trixie will probably go second or third. But a lot of drivers starting their out lap. Creamy, I think, is on a lap as he. Well, it says he's down on his delta, but actually that was a lie. He's actually half a tenth to the good as he brushes the wall, heading through the middle sector now. And while we're on board, I'm just going to try and get the sound alerts on just in case.
Tell you what, that banking section, that is one of the most satisfying. It is probably the most satisfying corner on the circuit, because it's just because of the nature of it, how you have to hug the inside, basically have all 4 wheels off the road, but make sure that one of your, well, both your left side tires are touching the wall. But then this section up here, I believe, of turn through turn 18 and turn 19 here, once again, if you get this right, you have to go through the left and then open up the right hander. Make sure you don't tap the walls. You go under braking for turn number 20. That battery depleted on the Red Bull as he tags the inside wall at turn 20, and then that's through 19 and then 20 through 21, and towards the final corner of the circuit we go as Creamy in the Red Bull, currently down in 12th and are quite away from the top. Where can they go with this lap in qualifying? They improve their time but do not improve on their position. Their teammate Tori is someone on the out lap, along with Beecham in the Racing Bulls. I think that might be a Cadillac or a Haas behind. You can't really tell the difference, can you? Where's the coloured dots?
Stayed Body retires as Gate gets a 5-place grid penalty after contact with Creamy, as Gate is just turning in on Creamy and gets another 5-place and a third contact with Gate. Not quite sure what he's doing, as Creamy's I'm not quite sure. Maybe Geet had his lap blocked, but now he's actually sabotaged himself even more. So he'll be starting far down the order as Ho Chin would be the next driver flying around. Currently, P5 was up on his lap as he's gone deep into the hairpin. That was a bit of a strange one. Oh, and then he reset the track. Okay, I'm not confused what's happening here.
Send him off.
As Echo round the final corner, and can Echo improve in the Haas as he boots the throttle out of the final corner and up to the line. Gets ahead of Ho Chin, who bottled his final lap as Creamy's. Oh my god! Creamy's doing a wall ride! What the hell?
Your request has been completed already. We didn't even get to the race.
Oh my god, Creamy was in a wall ride. What is happening there? I know we're supposed to be watching who's actually like on a lap and whatever, but dearie me, that was funnier. As Nis 3/10 to the good. Currently, as the checkered flag has fallen, will stay on board with the driver who finished P2 in the season. His team won the overall Constructors' Championship, so he will get first pick next season. As Nis now through the penultimate corner. He's got a little bit of traffic up the road, but shouldn't get in his way. And Nis now around the final corner. It's been a smooth lap, goes wide at the final corner. And that may cost him some time, but does improve by a tenth, but he was up by 3/10. Trixie's invalid. TJ invalid. Stayed body currently P5. He's halfway through his lap. So we'll keep an eye on him, but we're going to try and keep an eye on who's next cross line. Blue Killer goes P9. Creamy into the box after doing a really sick wall ride. Tony Hawk would be proud. As Mallard next to cross the line is, I think, Ollie just in behind Mallard here. And will Ollie finally set a lap as Mallard stays P17? Ollie doesn't get a lap in as I think Ho Chin not improving. Gordon will be the next to set a lap here. 2/10 the good. Can he get ahead of Geet? As Gordon now up to the line, and Gordon does get ahead of Geet, improves by 3/10 as next around could be TJ. Craig's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane as TJ was invalid, so I don't know if we've anyone left. Trixie invalid as well, so I think that might be everyone. And Ollie promotes himself up to P19 with Craig getting disqualified. So, sweet.
Well, that's quality then, isn't it? And it's probably the front row expected, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
The 7 Trixie.
It is the front row we expected.
I mean, we used to see them work together, aren't we? We saw it throughout the course of the previous season. They're not in the same team. It's a pre-season race, so it's going to be an all-out brawl then. So through your qualifying order, it's the step on pole from Trixie and then TJ in the Scarlet Ferrari. He says he's got pace in these regulations. Let's see if that's true when we get to the main season. Geet has left, sure. Stayed body in 4th, there's Echo in 5th, and Hossein in 6th, Gordon 7th, Geet in 8th, but he's got a 10th-place grid penalty, so they'll be starting in P18. It will then be Blue Killer from Alfie, then Ollie Bean, Beecham, Creamy and Tori, Red Bull locking out that 7th row, Sommers and Mallard, and then Jedi and Ellis, and then Ollie and Craig. They will stay where they are. They will lock out the back row together.
And Noah in the chat says I was upside down at the banking, and yes, we've seen that was class. We just went on board with you there, and hilariously, the car had flipped on its side. I've told the drivers to ready up at 8:28, which would give them 2 minutes to get ready for the racing. But we'll wait and see if anyone readies up earlier. But we'll try and invite Geet back. But I mean,
I think it's better if we don't.
Yeah, I think we might just leave it because it didn't really look like. It did look like he was repeatedly turning in on Creamy over and over again. That was great. But here it was funny, so play on, ref. That's what I say. But get your predictions in the chat. Who do you think's going to win? It seems to be a two-horse race. Nis versus Trixie, but it'd be very funny if they took each other out. And then it would be someone else. That'd be fun.
TJ, we will be there.
So, if anyone wins outside those two, we will be absolutely ecstatic in the commentary booth. But get your predictions in the chat. Rio, who do you think's going to win it?
I've got if my boring prediction, Trixie. My absolute why the hell not prediction, Thori.
All right, if Thori wins, I will eat a battery.
Oh.
So, please, Story, don't win because I'll get fucking acid poisoning.
Something we can talk about though. You haven't done a race around Madrid yet, have you?
I did.
So you have no idea about
I did
tyres.
some time trial, and I think my best time was a 35. And then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna practice a track that I actually like.
Fun. Right. So some tyre talk for you. Obviously in this series I raced in, yes, there were safety cars, but I did 26 laps on the hards.
Well, that's
The
good.
hard tyre is a very durable tyre.
Yeah, I did a race of guitar, and I found that the tires just do not wear as much as they used to. So I feel like every track this game has gone back to being a one-stop. But we do hear the chimes counting down, and who will win this one? We'll keep an eye on. Is there any exciting battles throughout the race? But hold on to your horses, gents, and it's live as we will have the 5 red lights on as everyone's roaring their engines, and down into turn 1. Ness is going to lead us away, but can Trixie get down the inside as TJ gets a decent run as on the inside. Stayed Body has a little look on the inside, but Trixie gets through as in the background. Who's else surviving? The Mercedes side by side as we head side by side here. Alfie in behind Blue Killer in the background. Ellis is around spinning again, and heartbreak for Ellis as Alfie all over the rear of Blue Killer. Gate down the order.
Oh! In the background, the McLaren, the Alpine, they tyre hooked in towards turn number 5. Ellis has got a 10-second for corner car, and sorry to barge in there. I just saw 3 cars careering off into the gravel. But like you mentioned, the Sev leads from Trixie, and the Sev flew off the start.
Yeah, we missed all of whatever carnage was happening there. It was hard to keep an eye on as Echo with a unique move there. Not really see many moves there ahead of Stayed Body. And Stayed Body in the chat did say he was getting a nosebleed, so probably didn't expect to qualify as well as he did. But can he try and recompose and stick with Echo here? As he had a very good qualifying. Meanwhile, Creamy gets out of Stephen Beecham. Side by side they go. And Creamy up there battling with the Tier 1 drivers. Could Creamy be our new Tier 1 challenger? Let's see as he goes wide into the wall. Never mind, I may have bigged him up too early, and he has damage, I believe, potentially on the left end plate. We'll keep an eye. I think he might have escaped without damage, but he definitely did understeer wide as Nis has set the fastest lap and almost dropped Trixie out of DRS. Meanwhile, TJ in behind is going to have to push hard to stick with Trixie now, otherwise it will definitely be a 2-horse race. Echo trying to stick with the Ferrari of TJ, who's found a lot of pace on the new game. TJ could be looking to score a lot higher than he did last season. Had no podiums last season, but could. And as we go on board with Ollie Bean, as expected, has no battery. And who could have predicted that one? Is in the background. There's another yellow flag. I think Ellis has spun it again. And that's a weird place to spin it. Not quite sure how he's done it there. I know I've not raced here before, but he's spun it there somehow.
It is very easy there because on the exit there is the track. Oh my, he's cut the corner again. There's a bump on the track, and like if you have boost or overtake on it, as you do that, it completely just spits the rear, and your rear will completely be gone. Something that's interesting though is he's crashed again. This time spinning once again. Something that's interesting though, I was looking on the dashboard of the Sev's car. He's underfueled by 0.4 laps. Thinking that he can Lyco, but actually that fuel light has no. I can't tell. The fuel light's gone off now. No, it's not. Hasn't. I'm being blind. So yeah, and the Sev underfueling, thinking the Lyco will help him with the fuel, but honestly, there's so many flat corners here, Arrow. It's going to be a pain to save the fuel, without giving too much in the braking zones.
Yep, and as all that happens, Ollie Bean was on the rear of Alfie, and he's now got Stephen Beecham for company, who's putting a lot of pressure on Ollie Bean and the Tier 3 champion. Meanwhile, Thori got ahead of Creamy that lap. I think Noah was just letting through Thori on that lap. Another yellow flag out in Ellis. I think has overheated his tyres as Ollie Bean goes wide, and I think so did Thori there into the wall. And that is now invited D Summers onto the rear of Creamy. So we've got a lot of drivers putting the pressure on Mallard. Pushing on the rear of D Summers, gonna look on the outside. That's a tricky place to go for a move. Round the chicane and side by side they go, and just about surviving as they go uphill to the hairpin. Ollie Bean gets a track limit penalty as we head through the uphill hairpin, and Mallard putting the pressure on D. Summers. Surprising to see Mallard not get a strong lap in, along with Ollie. Really struggled in qualifying, but now they're going to surely make the way through. As Echo down the hill after the bank corner gets ahead of TJ, and TJ may be struggling a little bit. Doesn't have overtake mode this lap, so might be under some pressure. Stayed body heading round the outside here as TJ maybe breaks himself almost into the rear of Echo. Is in the background. Ollie Bean ahead of Alfie, as Alfie a little bit of contact with Ollie Bean as Alfie picks up a time penalty as Ollie Bean gets round the outside. But a lot of battles here, and TJ is going to hope that he can get some overtake on the next lap, because you can see how much time he's losing by not having overtake enabled this lap. But now, as we round the final corner, and Craig around under the tunnel. Unfortunate for Craig here, we have a lot of spinners here at the start of State Body. Losing out to Gordon. State Body was right up the rear of TJ, but then Gordon now on the inside gets ahead of the Audi, and the Audi driver going to try and get back ahead of Gordon. Gordon was team captain for Sauber last season, who have now become Audi, and State Body currently driving the Audi, but not able to put any pressure on Gordon as Gordon made his way through down the main straight. As we head up the hill at the hairpin, Hochin. Oh, Hochin into the wall! Hochin went way deep into the rear of the Audi, and left end plate certainly gone on the Ferrari there, as Blue Killer now going to join the rear of the Ferrari, and the Ferrari understeering wide into the wall, and Blue Killer round the bank turn. Can he get a good exit as Ellis around again? And Ellis, I think, has reclaimed his F124 spinning streak, as Ollie Bean on the rear of Alfie. And Alfie back ahead through the bank turn. Ollie putting a lot of pressure on here.
It's all going to come out of the battery in this race, just considering. I mean, you say that overtake will cost them a lot of lap time. It depends how you use it, because I mean, like, we can see with the overtake, obviously it burns quicker, but then it recharges quicker, because this DLC is based from pre-Miami regs. You can use overtake wherever, and you can recharge literally however much you want. As we ran the final corner, TJ, despite having the more battery to burn, there's something going on in the final couple of corners.
Creamy went deep there as Jedi and Ollie battling, as there's a yellow flag out up front. Not quite sure what happened there. I didn't see anyone really dropping down the order, as Ollie Bean still battling with Alfie, and Ollie Bean gets through. Hochin and Blue Killer battling to the chicane as Ellis gets another penalty, and Ellis honours, he's trying to get himself disqualified as Hochin backs out as Blue Killer gets through into P7. Ollie Bean on the outside of Alfie as Ollie Bean breaks way too late, cuts the entire chicane, and surely has to give up that place as Stephen Beecham now round the outside of Ollie Bean, as Ollie Bean backs out, allowing Stephen Beecham through. So there's a yellow flag up the hill. Thory in the wall. Thory up the hill. 10-second time penalty after contact with Steve Summers. He's got to get himself turned quickly to get facing the right way, as Ollie Bean now back on the rear of Stephen Beecham. And can Ollie Bean look for a move around the left-hander? He's going to pull out late. Goes for the send on the inside, as we see up the road Ellis getting out of the way with the blue flags. But is he costing these drivers? He's really not getting out of the way. He's actually cost his brother contact with the driver, and the blue flag driver doesn't know how the blue flags work as Ellis leaves the road. And wow, Ellis has forgotten himself, and he's forgotten how blue flags work. Completely taking up the whole road there, as we've got State Body back on the rear of Gordon, and TJ now holding onto the rear of Echo as Gordon's lost touch with the top four. State now will have overtake this lap on Gordon, and might be able to put pressure on the McLaren drivers. Hochin, first driver in here on lap 6, and as Rio explained, the hards can go a long distance here. State now on the rear of Gordon as the yellow flag's out again. Who's it for this time? Is it Ellis again? It is, yes. Ellis again.
Don't sound too surprised. Oh, the inside contact! Gordon running on the inside, the outside, sorry, the Audi trying to make the move, and he just gave the McLaren a little bit of a love tap into the turn 8 hairpin, and the McLaren was just sliding. It was like an inevitable doom to how slowly the slide was. Nothing Gordon could do about it. Luckily, he's kept the position, and luckily that rear left hasn't come off. A slight tap on the wall as we see Blue Killer think of a move on the inside at turn number 14, but on this occasion, nothing doing for the Mercedes man and stayed on those medium tyres against Blue Killer on the hard tyres. Is now the Audi will look to come back in towards this. Another tight hairpin. Will they run? Gordon runs in deep. He then tries to get up and under as they apply the power in towards turn number 17. Around the outside he goes, and the Audi makes the move, but the McLaren will look to come back in towards turn number 19. Then the dirty air washes him out wide, and as we go in towards turn number 19, on this occasion Gordon will have to stay tucked up behind, and Blue Killer, this is surely just a move awaiting for the Mercedes man on the hard tyres. They're inevitably going to become better over the course of the Grand Prix. It won't be long till they are the optimal race tyres. He tags the wall on the inside at turn number 22, and that's going to cost any chunk potentially. But as we go in towards turn number 1, he's going to finger it on the inside, and side by side they run, under braking through 1, and can Gordon maybe try to get the cut back through 2? And then as they apply the power and make their way down in towards turn number 5, Gordon has got basically the same amount of battery as Blue Killer as they make their way down towards the far section of turn number 5, 6 and 7. 5th, 6th and 7th will stay as they were as they exited turn 2.
Yeah, terrific move there by Blue Killer, and now he'll have overtake for the remainder of the lap on State Body, and Gordon seems to be struggling a bit there on that. Oh, and Gordon almost bent it, massively cooking the rears as Gordon, and I think his rear tyres might be gone. He's lost a heap of time there through sector 1. He was defending from State Body on the previous lap and ran wide and almost spun in front of the Audi as up the hill we go, and I think that is a car around. Not quite sure who that was.
It was a Williams. I think it was D Summers.
But Blue Killer and State Body, two drivers who haven't raced in WHF before, but looking very quick here. And could be some drivers to join Tier 1 next season. As there's another yellow out, and maybe contact with TJ. Seen some dust on the tyre of TJ as Blue Killer putting the pressure on State Body, and I think he's being patient. He wants overtake mode enabled, and he gets overtake mode for the entire lap, so he now may be able to make a move here as Blue Killer on the rear of State Body and down into turn 1. He's just going to switch to the inside as State Body runs a little deep. Can Blue Killer get the exit here? As State Body trying to defend the inside, and around the outside Blue Killer goes, and I think State Body just giving that position up, but can Blue Killer now on these hard tyres use some pace as State? Oh, who's that? Who was that?
The Red Bull.
Thory and Ellis. What are they doing over here? Lads, that's not where the track goes. And they've both stopped to let through some cars. Very polite of the gentleman. As Ellis is wiggling his tyres. Very gentlemanlike, and no idea what they're doing at this point. Ellis is shaking his wheel ferociously. Possibly apologising for him taking out Thory. That's what I assume he's doing. Because Ellis is lapped by Thory, so I don't see why they should have had contact, and Ellis went into the wall again, I believe, and he spun it.
Oh my God.
And yeah, Ellis, I think parking it up might be a viable strategy, which he seems to be doing. He has parked it, as Jedi losing out to Ho-Chin, and Ho-Chin now on the hard tyres. Although he did have some damage early on the race, so he's going to look to recover. Is the Algerian, as Ali Bean now in the rear of Alfie. You can keep an eye on Ellis, whatever terrorism he's doing, because it seems Ellis has regained his spinning ways of F124. He was pretty consistent last game, and then for some reason in this game he's just lost it completely. As Ali Bean now will have overtake on Alfie Nerfboy, Tier 2 P4 driver versus Tier 3 champion last season, as Ellis gets another penalty, and this time I think it's Ellis bringing out the yellow flag again. I mean, I think at this level he's chosen the wrong club.
Leave the F1 before the F1 leaves you.
And I think, considering the team captain of Williams has picked a Cadillac, I think he's getting bad karma. That's all we can really say is what's happening. As leaving the box is Mallard, I think just up the road from Creamy. I think they're battling on the exit, and actually Creamy does get out ahead of Mallard. Although Creamy on the... what am I saying? Oh my god, what is happening? Creamy's car.
What?
On Creamy's car, he's got no front nose, but still has a front wing. So that's interesting. His front wing is using the force to be there. Well, I gotta say, Creamy, this is the best driving I've ever seen you do. Not only is he driving the Madring circuit, which is difficult enough, but he's also using the force to hold his front wing in place, because there's no front nose on that Red Bull. As in the background we hear a crunch of the wall, and I think Mallard potentially tapping the wall, and that's allowed Ollie to pressurise Mallard in behind here as the yellow flag out again for Ellis, and it seems like the yellow flag's just always waving for that Cadillac. Meanwhile, up the road, Stephen Beecham still following along Ollie Bean and Alfie as Gordon's now joined this battle. Creamy battling with Jedi, and Creamy gets through, almost goes deep into the hairpin, and Jedi now pushing Creamy through, and Jedi running wide, and that opens up the door to Mallard and Ollie as well. Ollie on the inside, and Jedi going to come in now as Ellis is retired on track. Is that a safety car? As low grip and straight line mode restricted. I've never seen that message before. Stephen gets a 3-second time penalty, and it's a VSC. And if we see Ollie Bean, where is Ellis's car?
Jedi.
It's a what?
Puncture for Jedi. The Audi's got a front left puncture.
Oh, and he had only done 9 laps on those mediums, so a lot of wear for the mediums out there. And Jedi into the box now, but that VSC has really helped him in his race, helps him get out in good time. Will this benefit Nis? We will see. Trixie went in the previous lap hoping to undercut, but Nis might get in the box before the VSC ends. But is the VSC...
Fun, by the way.
What?
I just watched TJ almost lose. I've watched TJ almost spin the car under virtual safety car.
He's just trying to get some heat in the tyres, but this VSC will definitely benefit Nis, Echo and TJ if they can get in the pit lane. Echo stayed out. Oh my god. I gotta be real with the Echo. If you're watching this back, some of your strategy calls are just terrible, and here is another one.
Unless it's ending.
No.
TJ might be able to jump Trixie here, by the way.
You gain time regardless, as D Summers has got to drive through, so not amazing. But even if the VSC is ending and it's out for like 5 extra seconds while you're in the pit lane, you gain that time back. Like, you gain 5 seconds by it being out that long. So
TJ and Trixie.
Yeah, it's just
on the pit exit we go, and he just gets him.
Yeah. Trixie out ahead, but Nis now with that VSC. Look at the gap now. It's 11 seconds of Trixie. That is ridiculous time gain from Nis, and Nis might walk away with this one. As in the background, a lot of drivers pitting. Creamy on the inside of Mallard, as Mallard makes the move around the outside. Creamy, I don't believe will have overtake this mode, as we see in the background a driver of Alfie, the Mercedes, leaving the pit box. As we'll keep an eye on Ollie if he wants to go for a move, but not into this tricky section. As Nis following on the rear of Blue Killer as well. And Nis may look for a move very shortly on the Mercedes, but a good debut for the Mercedes of Blue Killer. And Stayed Body as well. Although Stayed Body just boxed on that VSC's out in P7. So a solid race so far for those two drivers. As Ledgeman in the chat says, if you put this on the calendar, I will find you. And
I agree.
Yeah. Nis on the rear Blue Killer, and he's going to look on the inside of the final corner to make the move, but he got the overtake mode, so he should be able to immediately gap him. I think he was being patient, wanted the overtake mode, didn't want Blue Killer to give him any pressure on this lap, and once he gets ahead through turn 1, I think he'll leave him in the dust, because now that he has overtake mode for the full lap, I don't think Blue Killer will be able to do much to defend this currently. As we'll go down the order and we see, oh, it's a 3-wide moment! Into the hairpin, Ollie getting through on Creamy. Creamy trying to defend from Alfie. Former Tier 3 rivals here. Is Creamy going to come in after only 4 laps on the mediums? Or, I mean, 6 laps on the mediums.
No.
Oh no, and Creamy into the wall as he enters the pit lane, but now Alfie on the rear of two tier 1 drivers, so as he picks up a 3-second time penalty, as we call that skill cutting in the business, and with a lovely switchback with the help of the corner cut, Alfie gets the move on Ollie. And Alfie, the tier 3 champion, using lovely skill cutting to make that move, as Ollie back on the rear of Alfie as we head up the hill at the hairpin, as Echo actually threw on Gordon through the left-hander. Gordon gonna look for this move back again, but on 4-lap older hard tires goes wide, but makes that move stick, and a beautiful move from Gordon as Echo now back round the outside as we head through the right-hander. Gordon skates his car ahead, and absolutely beautiful racing between Echo and Gordon. And despite the McLaren being on slightly older hard tires, he's still holding on to this position as he locks the rears into the hairpin, as Echo now on the rear, but will have overtake mode for the next lap, so you would assume Echo could make this move happen with the fresh hards and the overtake mode as Gordon. Oh, Echo, big crunch to the wall at the final corner. He's going to pick the outside, is the Haas driver, and gets through. Echo was a McLaren driver last season, but in the Haas for today's social race. Meanwhile, down the order, Creamy right on the rear of Jedi. As Creamy is boxed, Jedi goes wide, opens the door to Creamy on the outside, and round the outside. Can Creamy make that move stick? Yes, he does. Dances round the outside in the Red Bull. Lovely to see there from Creamy. As up ahead, this 4-way battle between Mallard, Alfie, Ollie, and Ollie Bean will resume now, as Alfie Nerf Boy considering the move on Mallard, but backs out and wants to wait for a more opportune location, as Ho-Chin has reset the track, which normally would be a 20-second time penalty because it's a social race. We don't really care, but he did spin. Oh, and he's hitting the wall, and yeah, this would be a race ban normally. Yeah.
Oh my!
Bins it intentionally, and this is going to be a VSC. And is anyone going to hit him? Oh, the Alpine hit him. The Alpine of Ollie hit him. And so did Ollie Bean, both 10-second time penalties. And do either of them have damage? We will wait and see. And it seems that after this race we may be losing 2 Algerians, who unfortunately have forgotten how to drive.
Why did you say it like that? You sounded so disappointed when you said it.
And Alfie gets a drive-through. A drive-through for Alfie. And not the best. A lot of drivers out there have pens here in the Madring. The only 2 drivers out there currently at the moment is Nis, Trixie, and Craig, without pens. A lot of pens at the moment. Stade Body gets through on Blue Killer as Alfie in for his drive-through.
I have some news for you though, in terms of so you know how Echo didn't pound the virtual. Actually, before we watch that, we're still on Ollie down towards turn number 5. Ollie gaining on the rear of Mallard, and side by side they'll run flat through turn 4 before the braking at turn number 5. They will go side by side. Ollie, would he slight contact? Minor slide. The Alpine with a drift through turn 5, but luckily none of the cars fully spinning around there. But then Ollie running a little bit deep in through the turn 8 hairpin as they make their way towards the slight lift for this chicane, through the right and then through the left, and then towards the banking. This banking is quite the overtaking opportunity, and he closes right up to the rear as they head through the banking in towards the next left-hander here. Ollie was the overtake on the inside, side by side they run. On the inside, the Alpine goes on the Aston Martin, the Cadillac as well, of Ollie Bean looking for the move as they run through the flat complex here. And on this occasion, Mallard not close enough to retake that move on Ollie. And sorry, I was going to say, you know Echo didn't put under that virtual safety car. If he did, he would have come out ahead of Trixie.
Yeah, just sometimes Echo makes generational battles, and it's back again, unfortunately, for the Haas driver for this evening, as Mallard goes deep into the hairpin, contact with the wall, big contact with the wall. Ollie Bean sees Mallard go wide, Mallard really struggling. Ollie Bean do not make... I think Ollie Bean might be... Is he an idiot? Did he get overtake mode? Nope. He has given boost mode to Mallard. That was a silly place to make a move. And now he's given Mallard the boost mode for their full lap. And yes, Mallard did go wide into the wall, but Ollie Bean should have been smarter and realised not to overtake then and get the boost mode. And then he tried to do the DRS chicken, but it was too late to make the move. And now Mallard, with overtake mode for the full lap, should try and regain and catch Ollie again. But Ollie now 2 seconds up the road and might just vanish down the road. Meanwhile, Blue Killer, the debutant in behind Stayed Body, another debutant here today. Stayed Body, I've commented with in the past, absolute legend. And it'd be nice to see these two join Tier 1 because they're both looking very quick this evening. Ahead of Ollie and Mallard, two Tier 1 long-term drivers. Ollie, Tier 3 or Tier 1 champion back in Season 3. And Stayed Body now almost inside a second of Gordon, who has been the runner-up in Tier 1 in Season 4. And can Stayed Body now and Blue Killer put some pressure on Gordon, who did go for an undercut, but now we're seeing the tyre wear start to seep in. As Blue Killer with another penalty. And Craig has also picked up a penalty, so it's only Nis and Trixie who have avoided pens so far.
And
as
I don't think he's here, is he?
Oh yeah, he's not here, so that doesn't count. As Thorny gets a 10-second speeding in the pit lane penalty. Absolute skill from our Red Bull driver for this evening, as Blue Killer on the rear of Stayed Body. And can Blue Killer put some pressure on, crunches the wall again, and I think that's going to be the theme of Madring. So many drivers running while understeering into the walls. Meanwhile, Ollie Bean putting pressure on Mallard, switch back through the chicane, up the hill he goes, and before the hairpin gets the move done. A beautiful move from Ollie Bean to get ahead of Mallard. And Mallard struggling here at the Madring, but I can't really blame him. This seems to be definitely one of the trickiest tracks on the calendar. I'd say this track's probably even more difficult than Saudi Arabia. Would you say this is the most difficult track on the calendar?
No.
I mean, what is worse than this?
Good point. I mean, Canada. I hate Canada, but I mean it's not as hard as the only ones you could say. Singapore. I think Singapore, Monaco, and that's a great question.
I honestly feel like this is worse because I can just tell how difficult it is. A Stayed Body gets ahead of Gordon, and Gordon might lose out to Blue Killer, who's on the outside as well. And we're almost 3 abreast into this tasty chicane, and we are 3 wide. Oh, and Gordon up to the inside, and he's around. Gordon spins it as Blue Killer collected. Hopefully no damage, but they may have got damage there. And Gordon, a massive spin after contact, spins the rears into the hairpin as well as he tries to regain composure. But both drivers ahead have overtake mode to escape from the McLaren, and the McLaren tried all he could, but I think that might be Gordon gone. And if I were Gordon now, he's got a 20-second gap to Ollie, so I think now is probably a good time to box for maybe another set of hards to the end if he has them, to try and come back at the competitors, because at this point he has worse tyres than everyone ahead of him, and he's only really going to fall back as things stand. As Stayed Body runs wide, almost into the wall. Blue Killer has already regained some pace. He's got 3 laps fresher hard tyres, and Blue Killer's been absolutely flying this race. And yellow flag out and around, and it's Creamy again in P13. Went deep at the hairpin. Well, not P. Well, he's in P13. I want to say at up at turn 8. As Mallard on the rear of Ollie Bean. There's a yellow flag out and around for Jedi, as Jedi and D. Somers potentially coming together. Jedi maybe gone deep at the hairpin as left end plate damage does the Audi driver, and maybe he should have let his injury recover a bit better, because he seems to have been struggling this race, and certainly not helping him. As Blue Killer has overtake mode on Stayed Body. Stayed Body and Blue Killer having fantastic debut races here in this Madring social race, but both fighting over P5, although A lot of penalties involved will obviously play a factor. But still, you get to see drivers' pace in these sort of races, and I think we can already tell these two are Tier 1 bound if they do win a race. As Blue Killer now going for an opportunistic move on the left-hander. And State Body keeps it ahead now. But as Ollie Bean through on Mallard as we go up the hairpin, and Mallard almost cooking the rears as he goes around the right-hander. Mallard, right on the rear of Ollie Bean, putting pressure on the Cadillac drivers. We head down round the bank turn. Mallard trying to find some grip around the outside as Ollie Bean may have to back out as round the outside goes the Aston Martin on the inside of the Cadillac, and Mallard, will he emerge ahead? Yes, he does. Ollie Bean looks for the switchback, but doesn't have the additional power that Mallard has. As Mallard around after Ollie Bean tags the rear, and Mallard then tags his rear, and these two are having a bit of bumper cars through the middle sector. As we enter the final sector, Mallard lets Ollie Bean back through again, but these two have an absolute wars as Ollie Bean into the wall, as he completely seemed to lose the grip there entirely.
It's all dependent on when you put the boost and that on, because of how these engines are. It's a 50-50 split. You turn that boost on a bit too early, your grip it's like you are driving that ice rink here. As Beecham will think of a move in towards the opening corner of the circuit on whatever lap we're on, lap number 19. I don't know if it is lap number 19. Sometimes it likes to bug and say that some drivers are on different laps, but yeah, Mallard looking, no, not Mallard, Beecham looking to put pressure on Ollie Bean, but as they make our way towards turn number 5 on the exit of 3, I think Ollie Bean just pulled away a little bit of a gap. As One Racing Bulls lead the way by 10.1 seconds, and Arrow, this might be a sign for the next season, because the pace in the Sevs is showcased today. Phenomenal.
Yeah, I think Nis was slowly growing angrier by the day last season when he hadn't got any wins. He finally won in the finale in Belgium, but he has started this game absolutely flying. I will say the VSC did benefit him massively in this race, although he had already pulled a gap to Trixie even before the VSC had come out. Trixie was looking for the undercut, but the VSC coming out a lap later really benefited Nis. But Nis has had a very strong opener here, and could Nis be looking for his first championship, although we've yet to see Cookie race or any other drivers who may sign before the draft is declared. As Jedi picking up another pen, we've got a couple drivers in picking up a certain lock of pens, as Blue Killer has been stuck behind Steel Body for a couple of laps now. He's got 3 laps fresher hards, has the overtake mode to use, but hasn't been able to find his way past the Audi, as Stephen Beecham back on the rear of Ollie Bean. As Ollie Bean looking to defend here, and I don't think Stephen realises how much damage the cars ahead have. I think both of them with front wing damage after big shunts with the wall. And Stephen now looking for a way through, but he's being patient in behind the Mercedes and the Aston Martin.
Yeah. So Ollie Bean getting close to Blue Killer as well in the Mercedes, getting close to the Audi. Audi runs a little deep there as we make our way towards turn number 17 and turn number 18. It's such a high speed complex. You need to nail it. Get it right. That's a major tank stuff. That's what I'm on about. When you turn that boost on just a tad early, the grip just completely annihilates itself. Blue Killer is a prime example of it there, just completely oversteer. And if that was Sim Damage Arrow, that tyre could have completely just popped off.
Yeah, and thank you for the follow, Bobby. We heard the Rio laugh sound alert. That's great. As as Stephen.
I thought it was something else.
No, it's the laugh. It used to be something else, but now it's your laugh. As Stephen.
I thought it was what the PK was saying.
Oh, I haven't seen that clip yet. Stephen battling with Ollie Bean and gets through as Ollie Bean ran wide. As State Body and Blue Killer continue to swap, as State Killer still holding on to his position very well. I'm impressed how he's able to defend this long. I found on this game the overtake mode's so overpowered, it's so difficult to defend. But State Body doing absolutely magnificently on 3-lap older hard tyres, as Blue Killer wants to put the pressure on the Audi, and will he look for the move out of the bank turn? as he's burning the battery, but is he able to get close enough yet? No. Stead Body keeps it ahead, and the Mercedes in behind, getting frustrated with the Audi, as the Audi doing an absolute masterful job at defending here. And this seems to be the only predominant battle out on track. Meanwhile, Craig following Jedi. Jedi on fresher mediums, as Ollie been on to the fresh softs now. And hopefully a new front wing on for the Cadillac driver, as Jedi picks up another 3 seconds as he's trying to defend from Craig. And I'm glad this is not actually in season, because the amount of penalties is a bit inexcusable for most of the drivers. But here, it's Madring, it's a new track, it's a social race, people don't care as much. And to be fair, in my first race in this game I had like 27 seconds a pen, so it's understandable. You kind of just don't care, to be honest, when you're learning. As running wide goes Mallard, makes a mistake, taps the wall here, and goes deep into the hairpin, but that seemed intentional. Seems like he wanted to give Stephen Beecham overtake mode, as he almost forces Stephen off track, as Gordon finally listens to my advice and goes on to the mediums, as Ollie picks up a 3-second time penalty, as Mallard now knows he won't have overtake mode, and Stephen may try and blow around the outside, and yes he does. The V-Carb driver into P9 gets ahead of Mallard, and Mallard gonna look for the switchback, but can he get the grip? And Mallard, it's a lovely switchback if he can get it to stick, and yes he does, as Stephen still burning the battery as we head down to the tight chicane, and Stephen just gonna back out, let Mallard keep that position. And Mallard defending well here. Meanwhile, Gordon has joined the rear of Ollie. We still have Blue Killer on the rear of Stade, but unable to get ahead as Gordon side by side with Ollie. Ollie trying to pinch him to the inside wall, and Gordon gets through on Ollie, and Ollie on the older hard tyres has not much of a defence there. These two used to be rivals back in Season 4. It was Ferrari versus Mercedes in a barn-burner battle, as Stephen round the outside of the bank corner, getting through on Mallard, and Stephen finally can head down the road with those 2-lap fresher hard tyres. And will Mallard, who is one of the earlier drivers to box Nords, have to think about some tyre management here, as Stephen runs a bit wide. That's allowing Mallard to put pressure back onto the V-Carb here.
Blue Killer as well on the inside. At turn number 5, thinks better of it, but then picks up a time penalty. Through turn 6, as we now climb the hill towards turn number 8. He's diving on the inside! Side by side they run. They remain with minimal contact, and Stead Body able to hang it around the outside to keep 5th position on the road. A minute further behind Craig Connolly and Jedi making the move, making battles. I think Jedi must have made a mistake because he's now dropped 1.3 seconds back. Blue Killer though, these two have been stuck with each other, Harry, this whole Grand Prix to make our way into the corner. He thinks of a lunge on the inside, does the dummy, sends the Audi a bit deep. The Mercedes man will look to try and make this move towards the next couple of corners here. You can see the battery completely depleted for the Audi, and then we'll go side by side, under braking.
Contact!
Hood tyres and both go off, but luckily nothing bad happening, and they keep the positions, and they will probably still finish their work. Look how far ahead of Gordon they are.
Yeah, Gordon onto the fresh mediums, but these two battling, you never know. Gordon could somehow make up 25 seconds if they keep hitting each other, and Blue Killer getting very frustrated, getting stuck in behind Stead Bodies. There's a yellow flag out for an Aston Martin. That might be
I think it was Alfie as well.
Or maybe you're right, maybe it was a different car, as Alfie has left end-plate damage, I believe, on the Mercedes. As Ollie been picking up another penalty, but in behind. I think Blue Killer, what he needs to do is just conserve his battery. I think he's using it too much, going for moves. I think he needs to wait until he catches Stead Body without any battery. Now as he almost locks the rears into the braking zone of the first chicane, as he was trying to shape for a move around the outside of Stead Body. Would have been a risky move to try and pull it off, but he has been all over the Audi, and the Audi defending well here.
It proves how much better you can follow now, isn't it? Because look how close he is sticking. He's been stuck to the rear of this Audi for God knows how long. And if this was F125, you'd be crying because you just wouldn't have any front grip. But the cars, in my opinion, they rotate a lot better, right? You can follow so much easier. As now we look for the move again. Once again, he depletes his battery. Once again, he looks to the outside line. Once again, he tries to cut back as we make our way towards turn number 17. They will go side by side, roaring to the outside, then to the inside, side by side.
Oh,
they remain. Wheel barge into the wall. Goes the Mercedes, and the front wing, half of it's off. And that's surely going to require a pit stop for the Mercedes, man. And it was inevitable with how much they were dueling in the sunshine in Madrid. It's Blue Killer who's come off worse and will have to come in for a new front wing, understeers and tags the wall.
Yeah, and all that battling, as we mentioned, has helped Gordon massively. He pulled the undercut onto fresh mediums, and now, with Blue Killer having to fix his front wing, surely Gordon's going to get out ahead now. And Gordon could be looking potentially at P5, considering if Steed Body has any damage here, although it doesn't really look like we can see any visible damage on that front wing. Steed Body stayed out, but can Gordon make any time on him? The gap now at 18 seconds. It was at 25 just a lap ago. She's made 7 seconds in one lap. That big contact with Blue Killer and Steed Body might have played a factor. We'll have to wait and see, but meanwhile, Ollie on the fresh softs inbound. D Summers looking for a move on his teammate last season in Aston Martin. Will they continue as teammates? We'll have to wait and see. As Steed Body picking up another penalty, as Ollie Bean getting out of the way of the leaders of TJ, and Creamy actually gets ahead of Ollie Bean. Creamy using the blue flags to advantage makes that move, and lovely move there from Creamy. I'm sure Ollie Bean's thinking, oh wow, I've been caught napping. After letting through the Ferrari in blue flags, he's accidentally let through the Red Bull as well. As D Summers now. Yeah, to be fair, he does, but he's now lost 2 seconds to D Summers, who he was just battling with. And D Summers now got to think about letting through TJ. And he does just that. As TJ through, and TJ a strong performance here to get a podium. Although, we'll double check the penalties really quickly. Yeah, it's just Steed Body with 22 seconds, and dearie me, he has had good pace this race, but many penalties. Is Blue Killer now in the rear of Ollie. And Blue Killer may have P7 as they get through on the Audi of Jedi, letting away. Oh, as Ollie goes wide out of the final corner, and Blue Killer around the outside, and Ollie has no real answer to that battle, and Blue Killer will disappear down the road, although with only 4 laps to go, I don't think he will make any positions unless penalties play a factor, which there has been many. As Echo picks up a 3-second time penalty, and Echo will do well to hold on to P4 as things stand. But massive gaps up at the front.
Everyone apart from everyone apart from Trixie has got a penalty.
Yeah, and funnily enough, the whole top 7 almost separated by 10 seconds each. So massive gaps up at the front here. It has been a dramatic race so far. And currently now the only close battle is going to be Creamy on the rear of D Summers, who's on very old hards. Creamy now with overtake mode enabled, and Ollie being caught napping on the previous lap allow the Red Bull through, and now can Creamy put some pressure on D Summers and go for a move. As on the rear of the Williams, can the Red Bull get a move here?
No.
He heads through the chicane, and Ollie Bean, don't try it. He was considering it. He was considering going for the move of the hairpin, but backed out. And it's a risky place where you don't really want to see moves happen, because you're always clenching the buttocks into that corner. As Ollie Bean still following Creamy around, and Creamy looking to push to catch the rear of the Williams, who's on very old hards. And D Summers will do well to hold on to this position if he can. But surely Creamy is more grip and will find a way past the Williams.
It's a matter of time, right?
But D Summers through every corner. You'll see him struggling in these hards that could be in puncture territory. I wouldn't be quite sure. I mean, Rio says he's gone, what was it, 26 laps on the hards?
Yeah, 26 laps.
So the hards might be very doable at this track, as we hear Creamy burning the rears as he hit it out of the hairpin. and possibly just too much on the battery there as he tried to get going. Got a lot of wheel spin there. As here on the penultimate lap of the race, the Red Bull driver going to follow the Williams, and was unable to really get close to that lap, but can he find a way through on this lap? Oh, and almost boots the throttle on a yellow flag there. Out for someone, I believe, just letting through the Mercedes through of Blue Killer, I believe. That I'm not even sure who that was now. Or maybe it was Trixie getting ahead of Blue Killer. Are you telling me Blue Killer is...
That was Alfie.
Oh, it was Alfie. Oh, I forget the Mercedes and the Williams looks quite similar. Like Trixie lapping Alfie. I was about to say Blue Killer's lapped here at Madring. That's a bit crazy. Lap 7, or not lap 7, but down to P7 lap would be a bit mental. As Creamy on the rear of D Summers, and in behind Ollie Bean with no battery, unable to do any damage to this battle. But D Summers doing very well to defend here, as Creamy putting pressure on D Summers as he goes defensive to the inside, and Creamy runs a bit wide, almost into the wall. And Creamy trying to put pressure on D Summers, but he's doing very well to defend here. And as we started the final lap, at least Nis has, Creamy goes deep and into the wall. Interesting.
Oh.
Unsure
I
what he
don't
was
think you
doing
meant
there.
to do that, to be honest.
I don't even know what he was trying, because it didn't even look like he was intentionally braking late there. I don't even know what happened there. Maybe someone spilled soup on his lap or something as he was going to brake. Because it looked like he just didn't even try to brake for that corner and went deep into the hairpin. But maybe I could be wrong. Who knows? But onto wets goes Noah to see if he can set the fastest lap. We'll keep an eye. Does Noah, even though he's a lap down, and will finish on his out lap. We'll see, can he set the fastest lap on the wets? We'll keep close eye on that. Meanwhile, Nis on a flyer has dominated this whole race, won the finale in Belgium, and is this an ode potentially to this upcoming season here in season 8 here on F1 26? Could Nis be the man to watch? And as he rounds the final section through the penultimate corner, he's just got one corner to do it, and Nis, as he rounds the corner for the first time, will be the first driver in WHF to win at the Madring. And Nis wins in dominant fashion, 14 up the roads from the season 7 champion of Trixie, who will round the final corner and surely finish P2. Meanwhile, TJ, as mentioned, has found a lot of pace on this game, and onto the podium goes the Ferrari as he looks for the move on the lap Mercedes, and it's a drag race to the line, and I think the Mercedes kept it even though they were lapped.
And Mercedes always.
As Mallard finishes ahead of Alfie. And any other battles we see here, Ollie Bean seems to have lost a lot of time to D Summers. Not quite sure what happened there. Meanwhile, Noah absolutely flying on the wets here, as there's a yellow flag around, and Creamy is doing some donuts as Stayed Body crosses the line with a lot of penalties, so Gordon may jump him here. And Gordon does jump up into P5. Blue Killer, who had the contact with Stayed Body as he washes wide into the wall, also jumps ahead of Stayed Body.
Jedi vs Creamy here.
As Ollie washing out wide around the final corner, and Ollie up to the line, finishes behind Stayed Body as I think Craig jumped someone. I'm not even quite sure there. As Creamy rounding the final corner just ahead of his an Audi there of Jedi, and spins in front of Jedi as Jedi in the P15. As Blue Killer says, GG, that was fun, as Creamy is going to do some ceremonial donuts and finish a lap down for Red Bull.
Someone say that was fun. This circuit is not fun.
Oh, I was having a great time in the commentary booth. I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
Very fun.
See a car. We did get to see the wall ride at least.
Yeah, we got to see very exciting wall riding and qualifying. And I wonder, will the Red Bull need a couple of... probably the whole car fixed after that one. But a very exciting race there. Nis wins. And Nis, how'd your race go?
Oh, that was beautiful, mate. Just pulled the gap straight away. It was beautiful.
Still with sweat.
Nah, not sweat.
And Nis, half a second quicker than Trixie and Blue Killer. 4 tenths behind Nis on the fastest lap attempts, as Nis finishes 11 seconds up the road and will have to join Formula 0 after sandbagging in signups, as my game's crashed. Love to see it, EA.
That's mint.
Massive shout out to EA being so great at making games. But thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, you've been joined by Rio and me, WHF Arrow, and we'll find someone to raid on our way out. Let us see, is there anyone I know that is live? But we found Sasso. I think we raided him the last week in the finale, and we'll raid Sasso again. But anyway, thank you all for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a follow to WHF. For those of you who are unaware, there will be a draft after the sign-up deadline, so make sure to get your sign-ups in on time, and we'll wait and see how the draft plays out before Season 8. It'll be an exciting one. But thank you all for watching, and goodbye.